The opinions within this video are my own. If you don't agree with them, then good. The world would be boring if everyone agreed on everything and disliked the same stuff. My apologies for mispronounced names and words, because that will be happening. So I've just stepped out of the cinema after watching the 2026 documentary Melania, which focuses on the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, who is the wife of the current President of the United States, Donald Trump. Now, this documentary has been funded by Amazon, and there's rumours of how much Melania was paid for the rights to it. But to be honest, you can pay $1 bazillion for the rights to anything, so that's got nothing to do with me. Now, the director of this documentary is Brett Ratner, who has directed movies like all the Rush Hour films, Red Dragon. He did an X-Men film. He's done countless music videos with the biggest music stars of the times. He was also involved in a lot of Me Too allegations, with a lot of sexual allegations coming out against him. And I didn't go too deep into it, and I don't know if he was convicted or anything, but the list is pretty large. And more recently, his name's been dropped in the Epstein files, with photos of himself and Jeffrey Epstein. So pretty interesting choice of director for this one. And I'd just like to say that I love documentaries, and I'll watch basically documentaries about anything from biopics about some cowboy that lived 1 billion years ago that has nothing to do with me, or the migration of a colony of ants across Bolivia every 7 years, or something random. Now, I don't really feel like we learnt anything about Melania in this documentary. I'll go in usually without knowing anything about the subject. In this case, I knew Melania was a model and is now the wife of Donald Trump, and that is it. And I left the cinema thinking, she's Donald Trump's wife, and that's it. Now it just follows, it's almost like a bad episode of Big Brother, where it follows Melania around for 20 days before the Donald Trump's second inauguration, which I expected it to go into her past and her growing up and all that, but it didn't. It just felt, well, to be honest, it felt boring. And I don't blame Melania for this, because if I was sitting there with cameras following me around without sort of anything exciting happening, I'd be doing the same thing. And it seemed like even Donald Trump didn't want the cameras there, and it felt sort of overly directed, and like everyone was holding back and not living their normal lives because, they didn't really know what was going on. Now, with the amount of money that Amazon funded for this documentary, apparently they've got the rights to a docuseries in the future if they want, and I can't really see it happening because I don't know how much money this documentary is going to make. I know that I was the only one in the cinema when I saw it, but then again, the Australians aren't invested in this, so I probably won't be in the cinemas too long down under. But unless the docuseries goes more in depth into her life and sort of who she was in the past, I don't think I'll be watching it. I am glad that it didn't really focus on Donald Trump too much, because he could have his own documentary that I'm sure everyone would be keen to see if it was pretty open and honest. But obviously Melania is the focus of the documentary, so I am glad that they didn't sort of hijack it with Donald Trump stuff, but it would have made it a bit more exciting. All in all, I found this documentary pretty vanilla, and I didn't really learn anything at all about Melania, apart from just she sort of lives, or they showed us what her day-to-day life was like at the time, but I'm sure that didn't reflect what her life is actually like, which definitely would have been more interesting. And I guess I'll have to wait for the Donald Trump documentary to come out in a few years, and hopefully that's a bit upbeat and more exciting, which I'm sure it would be.